Down with Joel Potrykus, whose film Relaxer debuted here at Fantasia to much laughter and applause, and so I'm here to chat with him for a bit and about filmmaking in general and about the movie. I'll admit from the get-go, I'm a little unprepared, so if you are feeling chatty about anything in particular, feel free to continue talking with me.
I'm never prepared, so
Okay.
we're on the same page there.
Well, I'll start with an easy question. Other than the promise of fame and riches, what was it that got you into filmmaking in general and directing in particular?
Shoot, well, it was really all about the fame and the riches, so...
Oh,
So I was like a VHS kid. There was one summer where, when I was 10, I broke my hand, I broke my leg playing baseball. And so I had to spend the whole summer in a cast up to my hip in the basement because it was so hot, and there was like nothing to do. We didn't have cable in the basement, so my dad would just bring me every day like 5 movies from the video store, whatever he picked. And so there was a lot of like stinkers, and there was a lot of good stuff, but I just spent a whole summer watching like 200 movies, it seemed like, and in there was American Werewolf in London. And it was like, that kind of changed a lot of things for me. Seeing that blend of horror and comedy and just kind of Landis going whichever direction he wants. It's still like, I think, my favorite movie of all time for so many reasons. And then when I was like 14, I was really into the Doors. So I rented the movie. No, I was at a birthday party where they rented the movie The Doors. And Val Kilmer's on the beach, and he's like, that's Jim Morrison, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to film school right now. And I was like, what is, at 14, I'd never heard those two words put next to each other, film school. And I was like, that's where I'm going to go. And then 2 years later, I saw The Evil Dead, and I was like, and that's the kind of movie I'm going to make. And then I got to film school, and I saw Stranger Than Paradise, and I said, no, that's the movie I'm going to make. So that's kind of the progression of where the interests come and kind of what shaped the early influences there.
excellent. And now you're from Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. Do you have much to recommend about that part of the world?
Yeah, if you want to make a feature film and you don't want to spend a lot of money for permits and asking the police if it's okay to close off the street, go to Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's how you do it.
I'm sure you've done quite a boost for their tourists
Yeah, right.
board there.
Yeah, we still make the movies there because that's really the only place. I mean, I have a manager in LA, and he's like, "What are you doing? Like, come to LA and make, direct TV and pitch your big ideas to all the people I can get." And I just don't have that interest. So I guess maybe it's not fame and fortune that I was ever after, because then I would be out in LA pursuing that fame and fortune. But no, I prefer to just hide out in Grand Rapids, where that's the only place I know how to make these movies.
Well, maybe the fame and fortune will come to hunt you down.
We'll see.
Anyway, let's see. So your LA rep told you to pitch your big ideas. Do you have big ideas presently that you're...
I feel like in my head they're big ideas, but I did actually was tracked down by Amazon, and I pitched the ideas, and I don't think they were very big. They were still like weird and small. Like, they have like, their thing in the original meeting is like, they have a specific budget range it needs to hit. And I just had I was like, I had $10 million. I had no idea how I'd spend $10 million. So I was like, I could do this movie for like $200,000. And it's like, that's not what we want to make. It seems kind of odd to me. I know I could give them a movie that looks like it was made for $10 million, maybe on like $500,000.
Yeah.
I know I could squeeze that dollar a lot further. I think there's so much waste in filmmaking that they just assume that $10 million kind of equates to a good movie that people will like and will reach an audience, where I don't have that math. I just give me $100,000 and I'll make 100 movies for $10 million. How about that? That's the trade-off.
Yeah, I'm thinking that would be the kind of thing you guys could easily work out something to pocket the difference of whatever it is that you're not spending.
Yeah, I'll just pay myself $9.5 million. Make a movie for $500,000, I guess.
Worth every penny. Okay, well, I already had a question here about influences. You mentioned The Werewolf in London, Evil Dead, and that's
Jim Jarmusch.
Jim Jarmusch?
Yeah. And so, but and then it was like later, like I got into guys like Michael Haneke and his like long takes, and Lindsay Anderson. You know who Lindsay? You know
I
Lindsay
do not
Anderson?
know
Have you ever
who-
seen the movie Oh Lucky Man?
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Man, that movie is just no rules. That goes everywhere. And then a guy, Alan Clark, did Made in Britain, Scum. Made in Britain is with Tim Roth. Tim Roth is like this angry skinhead.
All right,
He's just like totally nihilistic. It's just like that. Those like seeing like those movies where it's like, yeah, man, this is like cheap and it's like just angry and raw. That stuff like
So,
really got me going.
a degree of
Really
grit.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, Made in Britain is just like a game changer.
I'll make
for
a
me.
big note of that. Well, like many people, I am a big fan of Tim Roth. I guess swinging toward Relaxer in particular. Now, you mentioned in the Q&A session that there was the 1999 challenge from whoever that bearded fellow was for the Pac Man thing.
Oh yeah, Billy Mitchell.
Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
And did you have an idea for this kind of story before that was, came to your attention?
No, it was really more. So I think I didn't mention this in the Q&A, but the seed of the story was because I really am a lazy filmmaker. Like I just like to make it easier on myself. So the idea of shooting a movie in one space that we could control the light was really what I wanted to do. And somebody once said that they called me as a distributor, a friend of mine, and he said, I have a bunch of money and there's a European company that wants to make a series of features about the 7 deadly sins, which I thought was like a really stupid idea, and it's like, okay, that sounds like some schlock that's like straight for TV or something. He said, but you can pick the sin, and immediately I thought of sloth, and I was like, oh yeah, do sloth, like the most, what is the most ultimate, like lazy, kind of gluttonous, like just a guy who literally spends the whole movie on the couch, and that's kind of where that started. And it had nothing. I didn't know that was all I had. I didn't know video games or what he was gonna do. I think at one point he was gonna maybe turn into the couch or something. Like the couch is gonna just be like melting into it or something. But then I don't know how it went from there. I just think what would he be doing the whole time? And I was like, he'd probably just be playing a video game, and then it just kind of went from there. And I don't know why the Y2K thing, how that played into it. I think I just wanted to make a movie that dealt with Y2K because there's not enough movies that do that.
Yeah, I
think it's a
remember.
really weird, fascinating.
Yeah, because I suspect we're similar in age, so I also remember the Y2K
Hysteria, man, for a while.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy, especially with my parents. They were like, this is it. This is the end of the times that your grandparents would always talk about. The Bible's predicted it. And I was kind of like, damn, what happens if, man?
Yeah, it's sort of odd to consider, though, because considering about 50 years before Y2K, somehow humanity shuffled on pretty decently without the computer system, but to have it suddenly pulled out from under us.
Yeah, but the computers were
Would've
going to
been pretty
control
dramatic.
the power grid and everything
Yeah.
like that. And so, like, everything, communication was going to get knocked down. Lights, traffic. So, like, in my head, it was going to be a beautiful dystopia. But
Well, you showed that nicely sort of through the window at the in the final third there.
yeah.
with
That's my
the,
dream of Y2K. I wish.
The challenges thing, is that drawn from any of your own experience or friends?
Yeah, we used to do, there's going to be a special feature on the DVD of one of the parties we used to do where everybody, would be like 10 people, you'd all show up with a gallon of milk. Everybody would throw $5 into a bucket, and then we had it where somebody would regulate, I think it was like 3 minutes per glass, and the last person to throw up would get the pot. And so we have a video, I'm the second guy to go. and it's pretty, like, the last guy to go was amazing. Like, it's a total eruption of milk. It's like literally a full gallon of milk coming out of him, and just blasting and blasting and blasting.
So this is obviously something you know a bit about. Is it possible to hold it in after?
They say it's in 1 hour, a gallon is like the maximum, but it's the lactose in it that your body just rejects. So for some people, they might be able to do it, but for 90% of the population, it's not possible. It's just, no matter how large your stomach is or how strong your abs are, you just can't hold that shit in.
The guy who runs the site gave me this name. I'm going to suspect he actually meant Burge,
yes, that's what he meant, Burge.
Lead actor, and you've worked with him quite a bit. Have you known him for a very long time, or just since you started movies?
We actually went to college together, and he was like the guy. He's a musician, first off, and he was the guy that was at the coffee shop playing like acoustic guitar, and they kind of had a Bob Dylan rap. That was like his thing. Like he had like turtleneck and the blazer and harmonica around his neck and playing, and he was like kind of in his own time and place. Like did not like fit in on a college campus. He was our age, and then we had similar friends. We'd run into each other once in a while, and then he formed a full band, and I was a big fan of his band, and just watching him on stage, I was like, I bet that he was like, went on stage. He's a charismatic performer. He's always like just kind of shucking around, and he's like doing Motown moves up there, and really like wild. And I was like, man, if I get a little bit of that, whatever he's got in front of a camera, might be a movie there. So his first movie with me, we shot Coyote in Super 8, and there's no dialogue in that because I didn't know if he could act. It was really, I just want to capture his physicality. And then yeah, he turned out to kind of just be the Bruce Campbell I'd always been looking for. And so he's my go-to guy. He lives in Grand Rapids still, and he's just like a friend. I like making movies with friends, and he's just like somebody that gets what I'm going for, and I get what he's going for. So.
Yeah, considering how he comes across in the movie, it is sort of difficult to imagine the physical way you've described him. Since you only see him.
There's videos online that I've shot. So he's a wild character on stage. And he's like Tom Waits, just like tearing the place up. Chance Jones, the name of that band. They play once in a while still. And our production designer Mike is the keyboard player. So it's a small world in Grand Rapids.
Now I know. Let's see, the brother Cam.
Yeah.
He was played by a outside actor. Was anyone else someone you didn't know for a long time, or?
Yeah. So that's Dave Smolchin, who's here now, and he's an Ant-Man, and he's in Blade Runner and everything. And I met him at South by Southwest in 2014, and I went to see he was in a movie called Animals, and I went to go see Animals because I was like, that's the dude that's Joker's henchman in The Dark Knight. And I just thought, like, as soon as I saw him in that movie, I was like, man, that guy's got like something, and someday I'd love to work with that dude. And I was always like, but he looks he's kind of too similar to Josh. Like they have kind of just like this unique face. But anyway, so I walked up to him at South by Southwest, and I was kind of like, I gotta make a movie with you one day. He's like, I just saw Buzzard. I gotta make a movie with you too. So from there, we kind of just started talking and figuring things out. And once I had this idea for the brother in this movie, he was the obvious choice. And Andre Hyland, who plays the character Dallas, had made a short film called Funnel that played before Buzzard at AFI Fest. And when I saw that, I was like, that guy knows my world. Like, that guy will get it. And he's an improv artist, so he just kind of riffs like crazy. And he's a perfect fit for the kind of movies I'm trying to make.
Interesting. Well, looks like we're getting close to the end of this. So there's one question I like to pose when I can to filmmakers. This final one. Is there a hometown restaurant you can recommend?
Yesterdog. Yeah, good Yesterdog. The hot dog place in American Pie called Yesteryears is the writer of that is from Grand Rapids, so it's all secretly taking place in Grand Rapids. He had to change the name of everything. So Yesterdog, the real life name is the movie name is Yesteryears, and in I don't eat meat anymore, but that's like when I do go back, if I ever do, like if Y2K happens and I need to start eating meat again, I'm going to Yesterdog and I'm gonna rate that for their chili and their hot dog.
Well, thank you very kindly for the recommendation and your time, Joel.
Charles.
It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.